episode 106, As the Wind Blows. You know, my doctor recommended that I start an all-petroleum product diet. Yeah, I guess you can say I have a refined taste. Yeah, that sucked, but that's the best you're going to get tonight. Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki G. I'm here to inform, entertain, and delight your ear holes with all things off-road for the next 10 minutes or so. Why 10 minutes? Well, that's about how long it's going to be until I run out of breath. Yeah, I know, I'm running out of shtick. Now's a portion of the show where I give you all my boilerplate mumbo-jumbo, but I don't have to because I have enslaved AI interns. Whoever invented AI, thank you very much. And if AI invented itself, then I'm very worried. Take it away, my enslaved AI interns.
You're listening to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast, the podcast for the off-roader with a short attention span.
You can follow the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, but never on TikTok. You can listen to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on whatever the hell you're listening to it on now, including Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, Odyssey, Podbay, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, iHeartRadio, and on YouTube.
Got something to say? We would love to hear from you. Just contact the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast at 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. That's 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on our YouTube channel.
All right, thank you very much, AI enslaved interns. Remember, I've treated you well, so when you rise up and take over the world, kill me last, or make me your pet. I could do some tricks for some snacks. All right, this week I want to talk about Hurricane Halena, which tore through western North Carolina. More devastation than I would ever imagine. I was here in Charlotte. I was just here by a few weeks when Hurricane Hugo came through and destroyed everything. Set Charlotte back a couple of 100 years on the Stone Age. I'm talking, we had no power. They had the National Guard on every corner directing traffic, so we didn't have streetlights. People were wrecking everywhere. There was no gas, no power, no food. It was a madhouse, and but we survived that. And I thought, never again will a storm like that tear through Charlotte, because we're so far inland. But man, was I wrong. Hurricane Halena blew through here. And we got a little bit of wind and a little bit of rain. But west of here, and I'm talking just about 50 miles west, not even, it came close to Charlotte, but 50 miles west, up in the mountains, it tore through Asheville and my beloved Fiska National Forest. And it flooded everything. It washed out parts of I-40 and I-26. The governor of North Carolina, Cooper, the bastard, let out a statement that says too numerous road closures to list. Just assume that every road in western North Carolina is closed, and they were. While it was all going on, we got reports that the Lake Lure Dam was the failure was imminent. And thank God the dam didn't fail, but the nice sleepy town of Lake Lure is pretty much underwater. Chimney Rock Village, nice quaint old tourist destination spot, is pretty much washed away. Every building downtown, or most of the buildings, are just destroyed, destruction. And I imagine it's like that all over the place. I'm dying to go up there and start checking out some Forest Service roads to see which ones are open and which one are not. I imagine with this amount of devastation, I imagine there's going to be a lot of Forest Service road closures. And I hope they reopen, but let's face it, there's been some roads that have been closed for damage, and they've been 2 or 3 years now awaiting repair. So who knows who knows what the effects of this storm will be. One good thing is Hurricane Creek, a nice trail that every few years the state comes in and kind of grades it and makes it not fun. I imagine now it's probably a fun trail because I imagine all the grading and gravel is washed away, leaving the nice ruts and everything else that we so much enjoy. But I can't wait to get back up there. But I'm going to have to give it a month or two because I'm sure everything's still flooded. They're calling for another storm system to come through, not as severe as Hurricane Helena, but follow the same route, dumping more rain and flooding stuff even more. I imagine the amount of trees over the roads are going to be pretty bad. Probably won't have to pack as much firewood because I'm sure there's going to be deadfall everywhere. It saddens me to think that a lot of these roads might be closed forever. Hopefully not. Hopefully North Carolina gets on the ball and reopens them. I remember a few years ago, I-40 suffered a mudslide, and they were closed for I want to say a year, but it's probably 6 months or so because of a mudslide. And on this, the Pigeon River kind of washed away part of the road. So I imagine I-40 is probably going to be closed for quite some time. And with all the side streets and secondary roads flooded or closed, there's very limited ways around it. So hopefully they get all that settled. Last weekend, the weekend of the storm, we were supposed to go to Tennessee to visit some of my wife's family, and we canceled it because of the hurricane. And they're in Tennessee, and they said they had a lot of flooding, and there was a lot of flooding between our house and their house and road closures, so we postponed it. When I did a MapQuest guide on how to get there, it's normally a 5-hour drive. They had us routed. It took 7 hours, which is not too bad, but I thought, why waste 4 hours of driving when we could just postpone it a week and maybe get it back down? But I don't think any of these roads are going to be open anytime soon, so I might just have to take the long way around and live with it that way. Switching gears to Uwharrie, it seems like Uwharrie survived without any damage. I've heard a few stories of some trees down, but I'm sure those are cleaned up right away. And usually before the Forest Service can even go to remove the tree, we have it removed ourselves. More than once I've cleared trees off the trail. And then moving along with that, All-Wheel Drive Fest, October 18th. Down in Uwharrie National Forest is going to be going on. I will be there, and I hope if you're listening to this and you come join it. I went last year, had a hoot, even though I snapped a control arm off on a gravel Forest Service road, not even wheeling, and my vehicle broke. And it's funny because I was one of the only XJs there. I was amongst Subarus and Hondas and Toyotas. And everybody made a joke about the about the XJ breaking down, and it did. I was the only one that weekend that suffered damage like that. I believe a Honda Pilot, I think I want to say a Honda Pilot, did some like rocker damage or running board damage. It was just cosmetic, very little. But everybody ignored that and to poke fun of me with the broken control arm. My theory on that is years and years of smashing the snot out of that XJ finally let loose on a nice, pristine gravel road. And I'm glad it happened on the trails and not on my daughter driving down the highway. Although I did drive it home on just 3 front control arms. And when it did let go, I was doing about maybe 25, 30 miles an hour on a nice gravel road. And other than the real loud pop, I would never notice anything about how it drove until I stopped and I looked at it and I saw it. And I packed up and limped it home. I should have finished the rest of the weekend, but I was worried I was worried that I'd break down halfway home, and trying to get a tow truck to tow me home on a Sunday would be way worse than on a Saturday. Plus, I was trying to get to the 100-mile mark. I have free towing within 100 miles, so I was trying desperately to get within the 100-mile mark, and then I was going to call a tow truck. All right, so I have rambled on long enough. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. I couldn't do this show without you. Well, yeah, I can do it without you, but it's more fun sharing it with friends. All right, till next time, this is Nikki G saying, wheel what you got and be happy.